evening, I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Shawn Yao.
The big stories tonight are all about missing men. First, we have former presidential spokesman Harry Roque, who swiftly denied that he's been arrested in Amsterdam, saying that he's just off to Austria for a scheduled trip.
Then there's Zaldy, whose whereabouts are still unknown, but who's now caught in a word war with Congressman Sandro after he accused the presidential son of budget insertions too.
And it has been a while since we last heard from Senator Dela Rosa, who's also been missing these days from budget debates. Where could he be? We ask his lawyer, attorney Israelito Torreon, who joins us in a bit.
Can you ask the DFA if they have news of that former Secretary Harry Roque has been arrested in the Netherlands?
Still in the process of verifying.
We were talking to the Philippine Embassy in The Hague. We never got any confirmation.
Well, there you have it. The big question, is former Duterte spokesman Harry Roque on his way back to the Philippines? News of his alleged arrest by Dutch authorities broke in the middle of the Senate deliberation on the Department of Foreign Affairs' budget, first mentioned by Senate President Tito Soto. Take a listen.
Can you ask the DFA if they have news about the breaking news now that former Secretary Harry Roque has been arrested in the Netherlands? It's in the news. Check it out if it's fake news or whatever.
While it's in the breaking news, Mr. President, the DFA is still in the process of verifying, as they've had no information from the Netherlands. We will revert as soon as it is confirmed po.
But turns out this may have been untrue. In a Facebook post published just minutes after the news broke, attorney Harry Roque quickly denied that he had been arrested, complete with a photo of a boarding pass and his name dated today, November 25th. Roque captioned the post, "There is no truth to the rumors that I've been arrested. I have a scheduled flight to Vienna, Austria today, November 25. Details to follow."
Foreign Affairs Secretary Teresa Lazaro also denied the report, saying there was no official word from the Philippine Embassy in The Hague. Lazaro did confirm that Harry Roque's passport had already been cancelled, along with that of Cassandra Ong, Dennis Conanan, Ronelyn Baterna, and Mercedes Macabasa. But she says they are in touch with the embassy at The Hague as far as Roque is concerned.
Wala kaming nakuha confirmation. We were talking to the Philippine Embassy in The Hague. Yung binanggit nila na just in, we never got any confirmation. Yes, hindi ba, as a result of the decision of the court, we already canceled. No.
In a statement, Justice Department spokesman Polo Martinez maintained that Roque should not be able to travel without a valid passport and that immigration authorities at any country can detain him for traveling without proper documentation. We want to qualify that, however, in the Shenzhen area, there are no passport or border controls, so theoretically, Roque could travel using other forms of identification. Remember as well that Roque is seeking asylum in the Netherlands, so it is possible that he may have official documentation proving such that he could travel on. In any case, the DOJ added that it also has not received official communication regarding Roque's alleged arrest or travel.
Now that goes for the DILG, which also said that it is also verifying Roque's reported arrest. It said by virtue of the red notice issued by the Philippine government, authorities in the Netherlands have cause to arrest Roque and to turn him over to Philippine authorities. Now again, we will qualify this as of this moment. A red notice has not been issued for Roque by the Interpol. PAOK spokesman Winston Cassia told us they expect this to be approved soon. Roque has already said he's filing a motion for reconsideration on his passport cancellation, which he insists has no legal basis under the new Philippine Passport Act. The former spokesman is facing charges of human trafficking tied to Lucky South 99, an illegal POGO hub in Pampanga, along with inciting to sedition and other cases. Now, can former spokesman Harry Roque really be protected from extradition given that he's an asylum seeker? Well, Roque maintains that under the principle of non-refoulement, a country cannot force him to return to the Philippines where he would face imminent danger. Roque applied for asylum in the Netherlands this March, citing political persecution in the Philippines. For ICC-accredited lawyer Gilbert Andres, well, it's hard to give a definitive answer. Roque's arrest remains at the discretion of the Netherlands.
If there's a pending application for refugee status or asylum seeking, then this will be weighed by the government, by the state involved. And I think this is the Netherlands in this circumstance. So nasa Netherlands po yan, mag-weigh po ng mga factors na yan.
Meanwhile, Andres is unsure if the Supreme Court can grant Senator Bato Dela Rosa's TRO petition, which seeks to prevent the implementation of his supposed ICC warrant. Dela Rosa ran to the High Tribunal after Ombudsman Boying Remulla claimed that he has a copy of the senator's warrant, which the ICC itself denied issuing.
Something hypothetical cannot be a subject of a TRO. In fact, there's actually no actual case or controversy as of the moment because there's still no official copy of that ICC arrest warrant. In fact, even the spokesperson of the ICC has stated that they don't have any information on that. So anything hypothetical cannot be a basis of a TRO application.
All right, let's try now to get more information from our guest tonight. We're talking to the lawyer to Senator Bato Dela Rosa, Attorney Israelito Torion. Good evening, Attorney. Long time no see. Welcome back to the Big Story. You are on mute.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Good evening po.
Good
Magandang
evening.
gabi. Naka-mute pala ako. Pasensya na.
Oo nga. It's okay. Most of our guests make that mistake. Attorney, I know you're not officially the counsel to Attorney Harry Roque, but I heard that he was trying to call you this afternoon. Is that true? Did you end up speaking?
No. Actually, I've had around 5 conversations with him on another matter this month. The last time was, I think, last Saturday. We had a discussion, but it was certainly not about him, but on another confidential matter. Last Sunday, he tried to call me, but I was not able to answer the call in the light of the fact that I also had other concerns. Nag-text ako sa kanya kanina na pasensya ka na, hindi ko nasagot yung tanong mo, yung tawag mo. And then the news came out na ano na pala siya, na meron daw, na aresto daw siya. So I texted him, wala pang reply.
Well, it turns out he posted on Facebook that it's not true, though. He was just on his way to Vienna. So that's why I wanted to ask if you had any updates on that. Ano yung confidential matter that you were talking about?
That's precisely a confidential matter. I could not disclose.
Tayo lang naman, Attorney. It's just us. But,
and the entire Republic of the Philippine viewers.
But I wonder as well, do you have any knowledge on what his legal status is in the Netherlands? Because that's been the subject of a bit of debate, whether or not he can still be extradited, essentially, given that he is, of course, seeking asylum in the Netherlands.
The matter of extradition really is a treaty matter. If we have a treaty with Netherlands, then he can rightfully be extradited. But I presume that he has already filed an asylum, and then the doctrine of non-refoulement may apply to him, because indeed there is this danger that he might be subject of abuse here or prosecution. So that is my hypothetical answer on the question, precisely because of the fact that all I have are all speculations.
I see, but you don't know for sure whether he has filed officially filed an application for asylum, yes?
In our number of conversations this month, that was not one of our subjects.
Okay. Well, even if you mentioned Attorney Torion, no, na wala tayong extradition, or whether or not the state will extradite Harry Roque, the Philippine government's counter-argument to that is they're doing it through Interpol, so it could be a different thing. However, some people are saying it could be up to the police in the Netherlands to decide this. What do you know on this, on the procedure?
Well, extradition really is a matter of comity. Now, even if there is no treaty, if the other states, such as the Netherlands, is willing to to cooperate with the red notice, then Netherlands may do so. It's really up to its authorities, and we could not dictate as to what Netherlands may do on the matter. But knowing the history of Netherlands, it is really a sanctuary of not only guys like personalities like Harry Roque. If you remember, I think the former head of the Communist Party of the Philippines stayed there for quite a long time, and they believe in, truly in human rights of individuals. So I would presume rather that Netherlands may not cooperate, no? But that is pure speculation. I do admit that.
Yeah, that's right, because I think with the Joe Masison case, it was a political prosecution. That's why he was granted asylum. But with Harry Roque, according to the DILG, according to the other authorities, he is now a wanted criminal because yung human trafficking case niya ay criminal charge.
But the other argument to that is Attorney Harry Roque is likewise claiming that all of these cases are a result of political harassment. So there may be some truth to his argument also that, on the contrary, all of this is politics. So it's up to Netherlands really to assess as to whether or not all of this is politics.
But help us understand, Attorney, what really qualifies as a political persecution under legal basis?
Well, political persecution is up to the country, which would decide as to whether or not it is such. It is so subjective on the part of Netherlands or any country for that matter. We could not give an exact definition as to what is political persecution. It's up to the country being requested to whether or not in its assessment the matter is really political. It's a subjective matter to my mind.
That's right. They're going to be making all the decision here. But as a lawyer, of course, again, you're not the official counsel to Harry Roque, but how strong do you think his case is for asylum?
Well, I would believe that his case would be strong insofar as asylum is concerned. It's up to his lawyer there to argue. And, Attorney Harry Roque, you may not like him, but you should admit that he is an excellent lawyer. So I do believe he also has legal armaments in his, wings that he can use to prove that the cases filed against him are just products of politics. So we will see. We will see. We are not Netherlands. All of these matters lie with the decision of Netherlands authorities.
Correct. So he's got a lawyer in the Netherlands, but does he have representation here as well? For example, he wants to file a motion for reconsideration for his passport cancellation, right? Does he have representation here?
That I do not know. But if he would seek my help, I would help him.
Okay, that's very good to know, I guess.
But I presume he does not need my help because he is very competent. He can defend himself.
So shall we move on now to your client this time? It's
yes.
really your client.
This time I can say with certainty what would be my answer because he is my client. I'm referring to Senator Bato Dela Rosa.
Correct. We did see after our last conversation, Attorney Torreon, Senator Bato did 2 Facebook posts, and then we've heard nothing from him. Is he now? Can we say that he is in hiding?
No, he's not in hiding. Any person placed in his predicament would probably do the same. He is gathering facts as to what is really the stand of the government insofar as persons like him is concerned. Know that there is no definitive statement. The message of the government is quite confusing because here we are, the ombudsman who happens to be the former DOJ secretary and who is very influential in the government claims that there is already a warrant of arrest. And the other branches of government, such as but not limited to the DOJ, the DFA claims that there is no warrant of arrest. And we have a confusing stand as to what would be the modality as to how he would be treated. One would say that it would be via extradition, pursuant to the extradition rules. And he just happened to be removed already. And I'm referring to Executive Secretary Bersamin. The other department of the government, specifically the DFA, would claim that they would opt for the surrender portion of the choice enumerated or stated under Section 17 of Republic Act 9851. So in the light of the conflicting statements of the Republic of the Philippines, it is but normal on the part of the subject, who happens to be Senator Batu, to make sure what would be his rights, what would be the actions of the Philippine government insofar as he is concerned, if indeed there is a warrant of arrest against him.
So he's not hiding, but where is he?
He's not hiding, he's just making himself unavailable as of the moment in the light of the fact that really sabog po ang mensahe ng ating gobyerno kung ano ba talaga ang gagawin sa kanya. Extradition rules ba kung meron ng warrant, o what you call this? Surrender ba kung meron na nga bang warrant? Pati nga ang warrant, di namin alam kung meron nga. Ombudsman na kasi yan. So may presumption of truthfulness yan. Presumption of na totoo yung sinasabi niya. Kasi ombudsman yan. He is the highest government officials authorized by law to investigate government officials. So kailangan namin malaman kung ano ba talaga.
Attorney, when you say that Senator Bato Dela Rosa is seeking facts, how is he doing that exactly? And can you confirm that he is still in the Philippines? And on top of that,
he is still in the Philippines, I believe. He is still in the Philippines. He loves very much our country. This is the only country given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't think he will leave the country, especially that he is the former PNP chief. And alam naman niya na ang records ngayon sa Interpol masyadong matibay na. Madali kang matiktik kung saan ka nagtatago, especially maglabas ka ng bansa. Si Senator Bato nandito lang sa paningin ko. Kung klaruhin ng gobyerno kung ano yung course of action, then baka he will make himself available. But that's speculative. Speculative in the light of the fact that I am his lawyer, but I am not Senator Ronald De La Rosa.
But Attorney, at the same time, you have the Supreme Court denying your very urgent motion to compel Ombudsman Remulla to produce this arrest warrant. And you said that you will be filing a motion for reconsideration.
I already did.
Today,
I filed 2 days ago, as a matter of fact. I filed a motion for reconsideration because I think we know that any decision should state the law and the facts upon which it is based. And we politely stated in our motion for reconsideration that perhaps this should likewise be followed, even if the subject matter is the Ombudsman himself. Because actually, my purpose there is to prove that there is already clear and urgent necessity, because the other lawyer whom you interviewed before me was correct. It may be a hypothetical since there is no warrant of arrest. But here we are, an ombudsman, a high government official, confirmed 4 times on national TV that he has a copy of the warrant of arrest. So he should be made to produce that, and he should be made to explain how he was able to acquire it, who provided it to him, and under whose authority was that person able to acquire that warrant of arrest, knowing that these matters are supposedly confidential. So, to my humble mind, Ombudsman Remulla has a lot of explaining to do. So that is why I am filing that, because if he will be able to present to the Supreme Court the warrant of arrest, then the clear and urgent necessity would be proven, and therefore my prayer for TRO has basis. But he should likewise be made to explain who provided it to him, when was it provided, and what is the authority of the person who provided it to him. Why would he be able to provide it to a person who is not accredited by the ICC?
But that's a point, Attorney. Something hypothetical. You're talking about the interview with the Attorney Gilbert Andres, the ICC accredited lawyer. And as he said, something hypothetical cannot be the subject of a TRO nga. So what makes you think that they might change their mind?
That is my point. Precisely, that is my point, ma'am. Since indeed it is true, it is hypothetical, he has a point. That is why I filed another motion requiring Ombudsman Remulla to produce the warrant of arrest, because he declared 4 times on national TV that he has a copy of the warrant. So if that is presented, then my motion would no longer hypothetical. Dalawa kasi yun eh. Nag-pray ako ng TRO, pinacomment yung kabila. Ang prayer ko doon, hindi lang dahil sa may warrant of arrest na. nag-entertain din yung DOJ ng mga witnesses po para sa ICC. Yung pag-entertain nila, pag-screen nila, violation na po yan dahil sa hindi na tayo party. We know we are no longer a party to the Rome Statute. Therefore, the government has no obligation to cooperate with ICC processes. Yun. Pinakomment niya yung kabila. To prove further na meron na talagang clear and urgent necessity, nag-file din ako ng motion na ipresenta niya at i-explain niya sino nagbigay niya noong kopya ng warrant, anong authority nung nagbigay sa kanya kasi supposedly confidential yan. So kung ma-present niya yun, wala nang magawa yung Supreme Court. Kailangan na i-grant yung PRO ko.
Correct, attorney, which the Supreme Court denied nga. But let me move on to the second point, which is...
Nag-file ako ng MR na po.
Yes, I understand. What I'm wondering
pero yung
is...
na-deny po, yung production ng TRO, ha? Production ng warrant. Yung PRO hindi pa po denied. Okay.
But the second point there is, why does the modality matter? We already know at this point it's not going to be extradition because ICC is not a state, is not a sovereign nation, right? So walang extradition treaty there.
To it. There is actually a counter-argument to it that the extradition rules was actually passed precisely to deal with situations like this. Although I concede that under Rule 1, Section 3M, the requesting state is defined as a foreign state.
Correct.
And since ICC does not have the elements of a state, then therefore it cannot qualify. We concede that. But you should also concede that under surrender, the Philippine jurisdiction, Philippine dispensation does not have the interim rules and regulations as to how to implement surrender. Even the, competent judicial authority has not been defined by our laws. Even the proper process pursuant to Article 59, Paragraph 2 of the Rome Statute has not even been defined. Shall we conduct retrial? Shall we conduct a preliminary conference? What petition should you file in order to effectuate surrender? All of these matters have not been defined under our laws. Correct. So therefore, since these matters have not been defined, it is premature to implement surrender. And therefore, even if there is a warrant of arrest granting ex argumenti gratia, there is indeed, it cannot be implemented yet for lack of the proper IRR. Yun po ang aking argumento, even if nag-argue ako na dapat extradition rules.
Oo, dapat extradition, but it'll be surrender kasi nga hindi po state ang ICC. It's a judicial body. But anyways, my question there is, let's assume at this point, most likely the modality will be the same as for former President Duterte. Why does it matter? Why you said at the start, si Senator Bato Dela Rosa is making himself unavailable. For us, he's missing kasi he hasn't been to the Senate plenaries at all. But he's making himself unavailable until you find out what the modality is. Why does that matter? Why does it matter what the modality is?
It matters, ma'am, simply because of the fact that if what was done to President Rodrigo Duterte would be done to him, maski anong English nyo po gagawin, illegal po talaga yun. Kasi hindi yun dumaan sa ating korte. Whether it be under extradition process or under surrender, hindi po dumaan sa ating mga korte yun na proseso. Even the elementary requirement of no person shall be deprived of right, liberty, or property without due process of law under the Philippine dispensation was not complied with. Imagine kung bigla na lang 30 minutes ago magsabi na naman ng DOJ, ay na-receive na pala namin yung warrant. Dakpin niyo na kaagad si Bato at dadakpin at i-diretso na naman sa Netherlands without passing through our courts. Bawal yun. Maski anong English na gagamitin mo yun, illegal yun. If you use the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, even if you use the Universal Declaration of Political Rights, illegal yun. So, kaya nga, si Senator Bato has to wait and see ano ba talaga ang proseso dito. Magpalabas ba kayo ng IRR dito sa surrender o hindi? Kasi ayaw niya madakip lang kaagad at idalahin dun sa Netherlands. Maski sino namang Pilipino, ayaw magpa-under ng jurisdiction sa isang banyagang korte na wala man lang tayong kaalam-alam bakit nagkaroon pa yan ng jurisdiction dito sa atin. May mga korte naman tayo na working dito sa Pilipinas.
So, attorney, does that mean na hindi lilitaw or Senator Bato will not make
will
himself
stay in
available unless magdesisyon, maglabas ng IRR or some clarity from the Supreme Court?
Depende talaga yan kay Senator Dela Rosa. But for all intents and purposes, sa pagkakaalam ko, no, I can only speculate, no. He wants to be clarified as to what really would be the rules and regulations as to how surrender would be implemented, because it is very dark under Philippine legal dispensation.
Except that, we've been asking him about this for many, many months now, even before the midterm election. And every time we've asked him, he's always said, I'm ready, bring it on. And now, we're waiting for...
Yes, he's ready, bring it on, provided the government would be very clear that
sabi niya dati, he's
rights
prepared.
under Philippine law should be done also.
Sabi niya dati, he was prepared for every scenario. So now, you're telling me that you're waiting for the government to make a decision first.
This is the scenario that he is ready. He will be waiting for what would be the action of the government.
Okay.
This is what he is readying about. So, if that is the reaction and you do not like it, I'm very sorry, ma'am. Kasi kung ikaw naman yung nasa subject doon, I'm very sure gagawin mo rin yung ginagawa niya ngayon. Wala kasing klaro dito sa ating gobyerno. Ang gulo, sabog yung mensahe. So, hindi naman siya papayag na dadalahin lang kagad siya. Hindi man lang ma-determine ng ating korte kung na-respeto ba yung rights niya under Philippine laws. Kasi working kasi ang Philippine courts natin. Kung meron kayong kaso sa kanya, file kayo ng kaso sa kanya dito sa Pilipinas. At answerin ko yan lahat. Sige, kung meron talagang victims ng extrajudicial execution dito, file kayo dito sa Pilipinas. Answerin namin yan. Kasi Pilipino tayo eh. Dapat korte ng Pilipinas ang mag-trial sa kanya, hindi yung mga banyaga.
That's already covered by the Rome Statute, attorney. And secondly, it's not that I don't like the reaction, it's that it contradicts what he told us before. But we will leave that there for now. Thank you so much for talking to us tonight, attorney. Israeli Tutorial, legal counsel to Senator Bato de la Rosa. Okay, moving on. The Justice Department is now offering a 1 million peso reward to whoever can give credible information on the whereabouts of key POGO figure Cassandra Leong. Acting Justice Secretary Frederick Vida made the offer after a Pasig court granted the government's request to cancel Ong's passport as well as that of her co-accused, including Harry Roque. Vida said the Bureau of Immigration has no record of Ong departing the Philippines. The DOJ says a monetary reward is, quote, an effective tool for crowdsourcing of information. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission says that Ong was last seen in Japan earlier this year. Spokesman Winston Casio confirmed that the Lucky South 99 representative was released from detention on December 16, 2024, but her arrest warrant for qualified human trafficking only came on May 15 this year.
In other news, Quezon City 1st District Congressman Arjo Atayde and Caloocan 3rd District Representative Dean Asistio both went to the office of the ICI, or Independent Commission for Infrastructure, this morning to testify on the flood control anomaly, but both requested for executive sessions. Recall that Atayde and Asistio were named by contractor couple Curly and Sara as among the lawmakers who asked for kickbacks for flood control projects. According to the Discayas, these congressmen asked for 10 to 25% of all projects in their districts. Curly even said that Atayde's father, Art, was also the recipient of flood control project kickbacks. According to Congressman Arjo, he had written to the ICI to voluntarily testify and clear his name.
It's all hearsay po, sir. I'm ready to answer po. I'll lay the cards on the table. Facts lang po. Wala po kaming tinatago. Hindi ako magtatago. Hindi ako iiwas. Hindi ako lilipad ng ibang bansa. I am here to thoroughly go through the investigation to fight for my innocence po. And
Meanwhile, Congressman Asistio said he only met the Discayas at an awarding ceremony in Camp Aguinaldo in November of last year, but he never interacted with the couple afterward. After testifying, Asistio said he is now preparing documents on his district's budget process for the submission to the ICI on Friday.
Para sa akin po kasi mas proper forum po ang ICI.
Bakit, sir?
Dahil po Sila po yung in-instruct ng ating Pangulo para imbestigahan. Meron po tayong tinatawag na interparliamentary courtesy. Wala naman po dapat itago kaya lahat po sinabi natin.
Sir, may mga...
Dininay po natin at paulit-ulit po nating i-deny na meron po tayong kinalaman sa implementation ng mga project sa ating district.
Sir, have you met...
We're just going to take a quick break, but coming up, a few months into his first term as Cavite representative, Congressman Kiko Barzaga already has an ethics and sedition complaint filed against him. The lawmaker joins us live in a bit to talk about politics and his motivations when the big story returns. Keep it here at One News.
You're watching The Big Story here on One News. Former Congressman Zaldy has posted yet another video, and this time around he implicated House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos in the flood control scandal. Co began by reiterating that President Bongbong Marcos ordered 100 billion pesos in insertions in the national budget. He insisted that he was sure about it because he wrote to the president about it in February, and as arranged by Justice Undersecretary Jojo Cadiz, they met at the Aguado Mansion in Malacanang or across Malacanang in March. In fact, Co said they are supposedly more insertions in the 2026 national budget.
Sa halip na itanggi o linawin niya ang tungkol sa 100 billion insertion, pinagsabihan niya kami ni dating Speaker Romualdez at sa akin mismo, diretsahan niyang sinabi, "Huwag mo akong pigilan sa mga insertions ko. Huwag ka nang makialam sa budget." At kung titingnan ninyo ang 2026 budget, may panibago siyang 97 billion insertions. Pero ngayon, ipinasok na mismo sa President's Budget or NEP 2026.
Co-detailed next, the presidential son, Congressman Sandro Marcos's alleged insertions. And based on documents he released, the younger Marcos inserted more than 9.6 billion pesos in the national budget in 2023. Now, in 2024, this went up to 20 billion, and for 2025, Co alleged that the House Majority Leader inserted more than 20 billion pesos in the budget. Co went on to say that the presidential son even got mad at him when the budget got slashed by 8 billion pesos.
Lahat-lahat, ang kabuuan ay 50.938 billion pesos. At bawat taon po, sa tuwing dumarating ang BICAM budget process, lagi po may utos si Congressman Sandro na ipasok ang mga proyekto niya. Nalaman ko na lang sa mga contractor na galit siya sa akin nung pinag-uusapan na ang 2025 GAA budget. Kasi kulang ng 8 billion pesos yung insertion na gusto niyang ipasok. Ang dahilan daw, may mga contractor na nakapag-advance na sa kanya, kailangan daw niyang magsauli sa mga yon.
In response, Congressman Sandro Marcos called Co the quote-unquote newly crowned champion of the DDS cabal and called his statements fantastical and false. He said, and I quote, "Anyone can sit in front of a camera from abroad and spew lies." Sandro went on to say that we are talking of a person with no credibility whose vested interests are to release these videos to destabilize the government. Evidently, the only path he sees for himself is one where he stirs political chaos in the hope of escaping his own legal troubles. Gusto niyang pabagsakin ang kasalukuyang administrasyon para maabsuelto siya sa kanyang mga krimen.
Now, the presidential son called on the public to quote, "Huwag magpabudol kay Zaldy ko." He insisted that Co is not a journalist nor a truth crusader, but a criminal avoiding justice. And he ended this by saying, hindi ito revelasyon, ito ay destabilisasyon.
Well, as you just heard, Justice Undersecretary Jojo Cadiz is another name implicated by Zaldy Co, who accused him of being President Marcos's bagman. He said, Co said Cadiz told him Marcos was angry about missing remittances, aka kickbacks, and he was then asked to deliver 1 billion pesos to the president at South Forbes Park. Cadiz is an Ilocano and seems to have long-standing ties with the Marcos family. He was part of the legislative team of Bongbong Marcos when the latter was still a senator from 2010 to 2016. DOJ Acting Secretary Frederick Vida says Cadiz has not been given a role in the flood control investigation and that he's currently on leave until November 28.
He's already on leave, no? So, and definitely under my leadership, hindi magkakaroon ng involvement. Considering the allegations already proffered out in the public already. Diba? We will maintain the independence. We will maintain our resolute conviction and belief that we need to bring this to the end. Diba? Na kailangan natin, tulad ng mandato ng presidente, diba? Where the evidence will lead.
Okay, at this point, let's bring in our second guest for tonight. We're talking to a member of the House of Representatives, Cavite's 4th District Representative, to be precise, Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Good evening, Congressman.
Sumba ako.
Here.
Meow. Yeah.
Hello, good evening everyone.
I don't know how to react to that, pero let's start off with the ethics complaint. I heard there was a closed-door ethics hearing yesterday. How did that go?
Yesterday? No.
Was it yesterday or
it was the one I attended was last week. Yesterday,
last week, okay.
I have filed for a motion to reschedule it since my legal advisor was sick. So then, what happened last week is that I made the motion to open it to media, though the motion was denied. And then afterwards, it was just regular closed-door meetings. I don't really know why it's a closed-door meeting or what purpose they have of keeping it closed.
But in any case, how did that go?
Just the usual ethics complaint, according to their plan.
What does that mean?
Well, they plan on removing me from Congress within the next few months, or within maybe this month.
So how did the hearing go nga? Like, so I'm assuming Congressman Ronnie Puno was presiding?
No, Ronnie Puno was not present.
Okay.
The Ethics Committee Chairman is Chairman Abalos.
Okay.
Nephew of former DILG Abalos. And then afterwards, we just discussed, we made motions on when the hearing would be and which witnesses to call, though some of the witness that I claimed was denied. And then afterwards, it was supposed to be yesterday, but now it would be scheduled for tomorrow.
How many more hearings are you going to get? Do you know?
I'm not really sure. It depends.
Before they make a decision?
Yeah, they want to finish it before session adjourns on December.
And to be clear, the charges against you are inciting to sedition and?
No, that's not for the ethics complaint. The ethics complaint is regarding my online postings against Marcos.
So they didn't tackle the inciting to sedition part, just the bits about your posts online.
Yes, since the complaint can't really be made there yet, since it's only up for preliminary investigations and then eventual hearings. As long as there's no verdict, nothing can still be made on that, since there's always the presumption of innocence.
Yeah. Well, I guess they pulled up a lot of your posts.
Yes.
On the president, on the sitting members of Congress, on the sitting cabinet secretaries. Specifically, ano ba in charge?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's just the general...
Making lewd posts, is that it? Or making...
yes.
Accusations?
Just the accusations. Still, the problem is some of the posts as we saw from Chairman Puno's previous press release, was that they were made before I was a sitting congressman. But the ethics committee are still using that as evidence. So that's something you can question legally. Well, I don't think we can because there's separation of powers and it's a legislative body fixing itself, or what's the proper term for this?
But I think
it's regulating itself.
Oh, self-regulatory body. But I think some of the lewd posts you allegedly made were when you were already a congressman, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you admit to that?
Yeah, I admit to that, though there are no laws violated. It was made with the mutual consent of myself and the people involved, and it is within protected speech and expression.
But you are a sitting congressman. You don't think that you should be held to a higher standard in terms of, your public behavior?
Though higher standard is based on subjective terms, a congressman does not forfeit any of his rights to free speech and expression upon assuming his position as a representative.
You don't.
Well, do you think it's just maybe a separation of generations, that a boomer doesn't understand what a Gen Z is like? Do you think it could just be that, or because earlier you were hinting at a plan?
Yes, they do have a plan.
How do you know that there's a plan?
Since the sentence would be expulsion, and they would need around 2/3 vote of Congress. They plan to do that by the second week of November, which is when majority of Congress would be there for the final day of the year.
You mean December?
So it
I mean
goes
December,
to,
yeah, December.
So it still has to go to plenary vote.
Yes.
2/3 of the House
Because,
have to vote against you in order to expel
Because
you.
their plan
expel
of expulsion is a very drastic measure. The last one who was expelled was former
Congressman
Representative Tevez.
Arnie Tevez.
Yes. So regarding that, they need to actually be very strategic in that. And it's something that takes months to prepare. And this is one of the final parts of the plan.
So as far as your social media posts, I'm guessing you don't feel like there's enough of a case there to expel you. But what about the bit where you are being asked, charged with, not charged formally, but they're saying that you are inciting to sedition?
No, regarding the expulsion, there's a possibility that they definitely have the numbers, because what happened with the previous Marcos administration, Ferdinand Marcos, is that they had to have control over the legislative to declare martial law, and they cannot do that while they're opposition within the legislative branch. So in order for Marcos to declare martial law and to suspend elections in the 2028, which he knows he would not be winning, he has to expel as many members of the lower house and the Senate that could prevent him from furthering his plans.
Is there anyone else in danger of getting expelled apart from you, Congressman Barzaga?
Well, mine is only expulsion. The others are like Senator Bato, as you've previously discussed, and Senators Villanueva, Marcoleta. They're possibly
They
going
have bigger
to be
problems,
imprisoned.
you think?
Yeah, they'll be imprisoned.
But okay, you did also make, apart
But
from
Senator
the...
Bongo and most of the minority.
Well, Senator Bongo has not been charged with anything yet at this
Regina?
point.
Not yet. But we know what's going to happen. This is...
Oh, I don't know. I just follow the news as it unfolds, but I don't know what's
Well,
going
then
to happen.
I know what's going to happen.
But yun nga, like, who are your sources? Are you just, you know, some people might say, baka praning lang si Congressman Kiko, hindi kaya ganon? Or do you actually know of a plot?
They may say that, but will all eventually come true. So, like what I previously said when I stated that Sandro Marcos is also involved in the flood control anomalies. Right now, Zaldy has released a video statement that showed Sandro Marcos actually being involved. So other than that, yes, we'll see what else other people may prove for me.
But what proof do you have against Congressman Marcos?
What do you mean?
When you accuse him
posted
of
that.
being involved in budget insertions, what proof do you have?
The proof that I had when I accused him in September, was it, or October? Well, the proof exists now, right? It's something
but
that
back
is
then,
not.
what proof did you have back then?
I don't need to necessarily have proof if I know that the proof will be eventually revealed. So right now, I already know what's going to happen. It's just, we just have to wait and see for it to happen.
The proof that you're talking about that Zaldy revealed, I mean, it doesn't tell you anything. It's just itemized list of projects, right? There is no way of verifying that really came from the House, that was really part of the budget process, right? It's just a list of itemized projects with the figures on them. So how do we know that's proof of anything? Is that the same proof you're talking about back in September?
Well, there's still many different statements that Zaldy will release, and there's also plenty of other people who will release their statements.
How do you know that, Kong Kiko? Have you ever communicated with Congressman Zaldy and all these allegations that you make, even with, you mentioned there's corruption in the AFP. What are the basis of all your allegations, your claims? Who are you closest to? Who do you converse with in Congress, maybe outside of Congress?
Well, in Congress and outside of Congress, if I told you who I converse with, then they might be facing ethics complaints by tomorrow.
Pero meron, Kong.
That's all a secret.
So what can you tell us? Can you tell us that, because as you were saying earlier, they would easily get the 2/3 vote, right? Which makes me believe, listening to you, that hawak na nila yung buong Kongreso. But now you're saying that you do talk to some people. So can we assume that maybe it's not as solid as it is, the lower house?
Well, we'll have to wait and see for that, because there are plenty of other groups that also want Marcos gone, and they might have other plans that I'm not aware of.
What does that mean?
It's just that it's not only within my best interest for Marcos to resign, but also other groups that want him to resign as well. And the actions of those groups are not ones that I am aware of. So while I may believe that they have the numbers, those other groups may have numbers within Congress as well that would not see me being expelled or Marcos maintaining a supermajority in Congress to be to their best interests.
But to come back to the point about Zaldy, are you working with him? Is that how you know that he's going to be releasing some documents and more videos?
Well, I know someone who knows him.
But you're not working with him?
Yes, I'm not working with him.
You don't know him personally?
I don't think I've ever met him because he was already gone by the time I became a congressman.
Correct. He was
out
the
of country
19th
by that
Congress.
time.
So you never met him before through
Yeah.
your dad, perhaps, or something?
Maybe, but I won't remember because I've met so many people through my father. And I actually filed a bill recently regarding that, the Travel Disclosure Act, which means that every congressman, every member of the House of Representatives must publicly disclose when they're planning on leaving the country.
Well, right now they do have to file for a travel authority. How is that different from that?
They have to publicly announce it.
Sometimes the House does publicize these travel authorities. Sometimes. You're right, not
If
all
we
the time,
ask.
but sometimes they do. When
Yes.
the media asks, they do release the travel authorities. You mean to say your bill requires that all sitting congressmen publicize the travel
Yes,
authorities?
it would be through the House's actual website that they must publicize it.
So everything gets uploaded there.
And failure to publicize it could lead to possible sanctions in the House Ethics Committee.
And that's regardless if it's a personal trip or an official business
Yes, both for personal and official business trips, any trip outside of the country.
Do you have support from your colleagues?
I just filed it yesterday, so I'll still start to lobby for support.
Oh, so you filed it first before starting to lobby for support. But going back to that whole Zaldy, so you were saying that these allegations that you were making through your Facebook status updates before are now being substantiated by Zaldy. But going back to Regina's question, I just want to know, were you prepared to, let's say Zaldy never made these videos, so you would be stuck, right, having made these Facebook updates and nobody backing you up. But were you prepared to back up your statements regardless of whether or not Zaldy released videos?
Well, back up my statements in what manner? Like in court?
Like, with proof.
Meaning what was behind your accusations to begin with?
Like, may
As
alam
you
ka ba?
said, September pa lang you made accusations already against Congressman Sandro Marcos. Zaldy didn't come out with this accusation till this week against Sandro. So
I mean,
what was behind your accusations? What was
practically
your
impossible
proof?
for Marcos not to steal because it's already within his family's blood. We've already seen that repeat with with Marcos Sr., with Marcos Jr., and
That's
by
not proof of
process
anything, Congressman.
Yeah, but that's not the proof that I'm
Practically-
using.
Right.
By that definition, through pattern recognition, we can already assume that Marcos is also stealing.
I don't think that's going to hold up in court, I'm afraid.
Yes, but I'm not doing this in court.
To say that, yes, correct.
No,
You're
but-
doing it in the court of public opinion.
No, but the problem
don't you
here
think
is
you have a
that-
responsibility as a congressman to make sure whatever you put out there is factual, accurate, not libelous?
Not
Well,
like
firstly, if it was
inciting to
libelous
sedition.
or inciting to if it was inciting to sedition, they will file the case, which they believe is inciting to sedition already. And whether or not it's not libelous, then I invite Sandro Marcos to file a case against me.
So nobody's filed any cyber libel or libel case against you as far as you know?
Yeah, none yet. And lastly, if this were to be taken to court, what exactly would happen? I mean, they control the court. It's not like you can imprison the son of the president, right? And I'm sure you guys are aware of that.
But let's talk about
Like,
first-hand
how much
experiences,
evidence can you bring, and how much evidence do you need to imprison the son of the president? No matter how much evidence you put, they will always find a way to absolve Sandro Marcos of his guilt. And that's the same application could be made from President Marcos because he is the president.
Again,
no matter what evidence
we
you
don't,
apply to that.
we don't know that, but
No, we do know that because no matter what happens, Sandro Marcos is not going to prison. We're already aware
that's a
of that.
conjecture, Congressman.
Yes, it's a conjecture. But
Yeah, that's a
it's
conjecture.
True. There's no
But what do you say to people who say that you are unwell? Not least of
I mean, it's fine.
not
People
least of
are-
them, Congressman Ronnie Puno, who's publicly accused you of being unwell, and he also revealed that apparently your mother had asked him, the leadership, to give you fewer responsibilities. What do you say to that?
Well, I always state everyone would want less responsibilities because less work is definitely better. And secondly, if they believe I'm unwell, then that's free for them to decide. That's for them to decide. Though there are no There are no things linking me to being mentally unwell. Oh, about those also, the statements about the drug abuse of the Marcos family. That one was not me.
Yes, that was Senator Amy Marcos. So, but what do you know about it?
Well, I know from... Okay, this one.
Okay.
This one is more of hearsay, though. One of my friends, who's also a friend of one of Marcos's children, has revealed to me that there are usage of drugs there. Though it's something that I still have to confirm.
And as you said, hearsay. Pawi had one last question.
No, just wanted to ask about if you have any of those first-hand experiences yourself, because you are a neophyte lawmaker. I mean, what have you observed in the early months of being a representative over at the lower house? Did you really witness firsthand these buy and sell of projects,
insertions, committees here and there, or wala na?
Okay, I could show you. If I show you like a video, pictures, everything, and then I bring it to court, nothing will still happen. We already know what justice system we have here. And if you trust the justice system to actually implicate or to properly imprison Marcos, that will not happen. This will repeat again, and next year it will be ghost school projects, ghost classrooms.
And ito na lang, what should we look for in the 2026 budget? Where did they hide it? And then we will check if, it comes to fruition. Do you know where they hid the so-called insertions?
If the press or the media could prevent theft from the national budget, then it would have happened already. We wouldn't be in this situation. Even if I told you where to look, you wouldn't find it.
Are you running as Cavite governor in 2028?
Possibly. I'm still thinking. Maybe either that or party list.
Okay, we'll leave that there for now. We've run out of time. Our floor director is waving the banner. Thank you for talking to us today. Cavite 4th District Representative Congressman Kiko Barzaga.
All right, we're just going to pause for another breather, but after that, Vice President Sara Duterte reminds everyone that under the Constitution, she is next in line when it comes to succession. And where she's coming from with this statement when the Big Story returns, stay tuned.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us on the Big Story. Well, Vice President Sara Duterte says she's ready to take over as president. Duterte attended an AI summit in Davao this morning when reporters asked her if she's prepared to succeed her ally turned nemesis. The Marcos administration has been hounded by rumors of a coup plot allegedly hatched by disenchanted retired generals. Duterte said she knows it's her mandate to step in if something happens to the president.
There is no question about my readiness. Presenta ko sa inyo yun. Ang sarili ko at alam ko na first in line ako sa succession. Wala nang tanong doon kung ano ang gagawin ko. Iyon ang mandate sa akin ng Constitution.
But for the armed forces of the Philippines, there will never be a civil-military junta. This comes after Senator Ping Lacson revealed that he was offered to join such a group via text. AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Padilla asserted that their loyalty remains with the Constitution.
Wala pong puwang sa Republika ang extra-constitutional shortcuts whatsoever. Hindi po ito parang isang video game na pwede po nating i-restart. The AFP will never subscribe to any reset plot, and our Constitution has no cheat codes.
On to the weather now. Tropical depression Verbena has already made 4 landfalls as it nears exit. These are over Bayaba, Surigao del Sur, and Hagna in Bohol yesterday, and Talisay City in Cebu and Vallehermoso, Negros Oriental this morning. Verbena will make another landfall in northern Palawan tonight. The cyclone is packing winds of 55 to 70 kilometers per hour, and Verbena could likely reach tropical storm category within the next 6 to 12 hours. It will then emerge over the West Philippine Sea early tomorrow morning before exiting the Philippine area of responsibility on Thursday. Signal number 1 remains up over Antique, Occidental Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro, and parts of Aklan, Romblon, and Palawan.
And for our big picture tonight, they are images from the onslaught of tropical depression Verbena. The cyclone's rains, enhanced by two other weather systems, the northeast monsoon or Amihan and the shear line, inundated several areas in the Visayas, such as Butuan City in Agusan del Norte. Now, non-stop showers on Monday night resulted in waist-high flood waters. In Tandag City, Surigao del Sur, many areas were not spared from flooding, including a transport terminal and a Catholic chapel. Over in St. Bernard, southern Leyte, a dike overflowed because of incessant rains. Some barangays were underwater for hours as a result. And over in already calamity-stricken Cebu, residents in Talisay City did not take chances and sought safer shelter early. Hundreds of families were brought to evacuation centers to prevent a repeat of the situation from Typhoon Tino last November 4, when trapped locals saw their homes inundated for days. Right, and that's it for the big story this Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching.
We are back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. See you then.
Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time. Have a good night.